الصدقات فنعما هي وإن تخفوها وتؤتوها الفقراء فهو خير لكم ويكفر عنكم من سيئاتكم والله بما تعملون خبير. ليس عليك هداهم ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء وما تنفقوا من خير فلأنفسكم وما تنفقون إلا ابتغاء وجه الله وما تنفقوا من خير يوفى إليكم وأنتم لا تظلمون. صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I will be translating for you what Brother Isa recited from Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 267 to 272. O you who have believed, spend from the good things which you have earned and from that which we have produced for you from the earth. And do not aim towards the defective therefrom, spending from that while you would not take it yourself except with closed eyes. And know that Allah is free of need and praiseworthy. Satan threatens you with poverty and orders you to immorality, while Allah promises you forgiveness from Him and bounty, and Allah is all-encompassing and knowing. He gives wisdom to whom He wills, and whoever has been given wisdom has certainly been given much good, and none will remember except those of understanding. And whatever you spend of expenditures or make of vows, indeed Allah knows of it, and for the wrongdoers there are no helpers. If you disclose your charitable expenditures, they are good, but if you conceal them and give them to the poor, it is better for you, and He will remove from you some of your misdeeds thereby, and Allah with what you do is fully acquainted. Not upon you, O Muhammad, is responsibility for their guidance, but Allah guides whom He wills. And whatever good you believers spend is for yourselves, and you do not spend except seeking the countenance of Allah. And whatever you spend of good, it will be fully repaid to you, and you will not be wronged.
I would now like to welcome Dr. Al-Gamal, who currently serves as the Islamic Association of Raleigh Chair, to share a few words with you. He was also a Shura member for the past 5 years and has a PhD in electrical engineering and an MBA. Dr. Al-Gamal is married and has 4 children and currently lives in Raleigh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming and joining us here this evening. Please tell all those who could not make it here tonight, we miss you, and you could really also send your donations if possible. The good work of organizing, or the organizing committee, made this event possible. For this, I would like to thank Dr. Usama Saeed, is the head of the fundraising committee, Dr. Abdul Ghafoor Chaudhry, Dr. Sami Abdul Baqi, Imam Muammar, Brother Abdul Khawar, and so many others who helped in planning and organizing for this gathering. There is a dire need to build and maintain Islamic institutions for us, for our children and their children, and for many generations to come. Tonight, we have come together not only to raise funds for good cause, but also to celebrate hope. That hope is not pie in the sky. It is a real demonstration that when people come together and put their mind to it, dreams can be realized. Every difficult age needs championship. It needs leadership like you. It needs people like you who are prepared to stand up and be counted. It needs people like you who shape the future for our youth and for our Muslims in this region and in this country. Some university graduates back in the 1980s planted the seed and started the dream of IAR, Islamic Association Raleigh. And many of you in this room were part of this dream. You made the choice and contribution and contributed money and time, and yes, you made history. The dream is realized, and it is a reality now. Now we have not only an excellent imam, not only a good masjid, but we have institutions that include 3 schools and provide many programs and services. Your choice was not to walk away when help was asked for. It was a choice not to simply get on with your lives. It was a choice you made to listen, to understand, and to say, if there is a way I can help, then I will do just that. Your contributions in the past were put into good use. We will ask you again this evening to make the choice and continue the legacy and be a part of a bigger dream to realize better Islamic institutions here for our community now and in the future. We will ask you to contribute generously. IAR leadership takes what you give us as a sacred trust and wisely use your fund for programs that benefit our youth and our community. Any future plan and project will be done after we get your input and community input. We will use every good idea and we will listen carefully to your voices. When people come together like this, it raises a wonderful energy of commitment and dedication for the sake of Allah and for the sake of our children and future generation. وجزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Dr. El-Gamal. Now we will have a short presentation on building the future, followed by our next speaker, Imam Muhammad Abu Talib, who serves as the Imam of the Islamic Association of Raleigh and is an American-born educator, scientist, and activist. He is a lifelong student of the Holy Quran and strives to empower others to raise righteous families and live Islam with dignity, understanding, and pride. He is married and blessed with a young son. Following Imam Abu Talib, we will have Imam Muammar Dahnun, who has been one of the Imams of the Islamic Association of Raleigh for the past year. He is married with 4 children and has been living in Raleigh for more than 20 years. Imam Muhammad is one of the fundraising team leads of Islamic Association of Raleigh and will be our fundraiser for tonight's event, inshallah. Please provide them with your undivided attention. Thank you.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. It's an honor to be with you tonight. And you have to forgive me for my voice. I've been fighting a cold all week. But I know all of you sacrificed to be here today. And this is my small sacrifice, inshallah, to honor your sacrifice, because I think what we're doing today is so important. It's unfamiliar territory for me because somebody told me I swallowed a megaphone at birth. So you'll have to be patient with me. But I think to share with you a couple reflections on our vision of building for the future tonight. You know, I think this journey starts with, in so many places for us in this room. Many people in this room came to this country and built life anew, started families here, and didn't have the resources that young people are blessed with today. And when I reflect on the place of the mosque in America, I'm drawn back actually to Al-Masjid al-Nabawi. Because the diversity that we have in this masjid, the ability to be active, to educate, to teach our kids Quran, to be asked to perform outreach activities, to be on the media. Many Muslims across the world wish for this but don't have this. And when you reflect on what the companions must have felt like when they started with that, that's a model of what Al-Masjid al-Nabawi looked like shortly after they built it. Literally palm trees, sand, and leaves. They built that before many of them built their own homes. They stayed in temporary places so that they could build that before their houses. That was not just a place of prayer. The reason you see two areas is because one area was like a social services center. Ahlul Sufa, people we would call homeless or needy, were served there. So many ahadith, so much education happened there. The problems of Arabia were solved on that land. And these were a great people, but all people meet their end. All of us will die. But I want to just imagine with you for a moment, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were to bring out Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anhu, if he were to bring out our mother Aisha radiallahu anha, or any of the companions, just for a moment, and to show them this, what do you think they would feel? What do you think their pages look like when every person that walks through those doors, inshallah, a share of their reward goes to those early companions? How easy did that suffering, that hardship become when they met their end and found what their Lord had prepared for them? I don't think any of them ever imagined this. But they had great vision. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exceeded their wildest imaginations. Here in America, we're blessed with what many people in Muslim majority countries don't have. The opportunity to be so dynamic in our service, to build families, to help others, to make da'wah. We're not preaching to the choir here. Most of our fellow Americans don't know what Islam is and are thirsty to find out. But sadly, the journey of Islam in America has not been perfect. There are many challenges that we face. A lot of Muslim centers are unable to really build institutions, unable to keep stable leadership. I could name for you, after a decade of waiting for American cultured, American born imams, I could name for you a dozen that have left the masajid in the last year and a half. One of my main motivations for becoming an imam was not having one in my center. We could never coalesce around the vision. And so many people are struggling as their needs go beyond prayer. The health needs of our seniors, the educational needs of our children. And so many communities in America have come up short from their potential and their duty before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's a very personal dimension to that story, because my wife and I searched for more than a year to find a community that we could call home. And we found large communities, some larger than Raleigh. We found beautiful masajid, but so many places there was that missing puzzle piece. And I had all but given up hope, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in amazing ways. So in a rare moment of recreation, I met one of your community members in the oddest of places, on a basketball court in the suburbs of DC. And he told me, you have to check out this community. And I was skeptical. I'd been searching for a year. I'd seen so many of the ills of communities in America. But then he started to entice my attention. What was this community that stayed behind a single imam for 30 years when most people can't hold on to theirs for 3 months? What was this community that was blessed with faith growth to go from that to that to that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after His immense mercy and blessing, He blessed members of this community, some of whom are in our midst, some of whom have moved on. We pray to Allah to reward them. They had vision that many communities in America lacked. In the early 90s, while people were struggling to understand if they should do anything but prayer, people here saw the wisdom of a multi-purpose hall and a gym. In the early 90s, while Al-Iman School was started and continues, mashallah, this 20-year journey, many people hadn't even thought about educating their children. And now in Nur Quran Academy, bringing the Quran to light, not just in memorization, but in application, in understanding. Al-Furqan, to have these decades where a weekend school is functioning, we have so many blessings in this community. And I hope you don't forget that, because I wouldn't have recognized it if I didn't see the other side. If I hadn't traveled and seen how many communities have been tested with the lack of these blessings. And we are so thankful for Allah Azza wa Jall's blessings. Alhamdulillah, we have an incredible diversity in our community. More than 75 nationalities represented. More than 3,000 people pray Jummah. And increasing local and national profiles. We've been featured on magazines, had great reach online. Alhamdulillah, part of this growing vision to serve our families, our children, and the next generation. And you see, alhamdulillah, and you're familiar with IAR's dedication to serve the 360-degree needs of our families. That when we need to grieve, we find aza and burial and cemetery and washroom services. When we need to educate our children, we find support for that. When we need counseling, we're building up more and more support for that institutionally, so that we can find, yes, our prayers, but also all the other flavors of worship and support that we seek in building righteous families together. Because together, we are more empowered to do it than alone. But alas, we stop going forward on the path, because it's not always that easy. There are things pushing you back. And as our predecessors faced challenges, today our youth are facing challenges that are unlike those that have come before. I know that graphic on the left is not easy for you to look at, but we cannot change reality because it doesn't suit our fancy. The reality is, and the reference is right there if you want to look at it, 58.5% of American Muslim college youth will engage in at least one high-risk behavior before graduation. Our children in a post-9/11 reality are growing up now where their identity is challenged at an incredibly young age. Some members of society make them feel like this isn't home, like they don't belong, like they don't have the same rights and space that others do. And so, because our challenges change, we don't change our services as IAR because we know better than those that have come before us. We don't do it because we're going to reinvent the religion. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent His prophets, each one bilisani qawmih, in the tongue of his people. And our people, and especially our children, are facing challenges different than before. And the reality is, if our children are going to hold on to their identity in Islam, if they're going to carry it with pride, they will do it in an environment that is incredibly different from the one that every parent in this room grew up in. Look no further than this, in the top right. Look at the 68-year-old man. 1 year after our loss in this community of our 3 winners, today we wake up to news of a 68-year-old man beaten brutally to death by a man that came to work on his yard. that reality is uncomfortable. And as individuals, that reality is overwhelming. So together, we find strength. That doesn't mean we have the answers. And as Dr. Al-Gamal said, that doesn't mean the dream tonight is complete, or it's sealed, or that it's not open for improvement. Definitely by discussion, by the community's input, by our continued commitment, inshallah, we will come closer and closer to what is most pleasing to Allah and most beneficial to our community. But today, we have to dream. Today, we have to say it's unacceptable to just survive. It's unacceptable to just be on the defensive. We have to really be able to come together and build an institution that doesn't just survive, but thrives. That doesn't leave us alone as islands, but brings us together, because together there is strength. And we've started this conversation together. I've put up here some of the Imam's initiatives. You can look on YouTube for more details, but I want to just talk about that first one. When I joined this community, I was overwhelmed with the counseling needs that our community has. And this is indicative of many communities. And understand that as Imams, we have a sacred trust between those that we meet. We don't share their names, we don't share their identities. And honestly, I think that sometimes we don't share enough of that with you. But those statistics that I showed on the earlier page, that used to be an article. But it's not an article anymore. It's our sons and our daughters. It's my concern about the future for my son. It's faces and people that are struggling, and we want to help them struggle. Imam Muhammad and I, we were putting in some months, 60 plus hours just on counseling. But we looked out into this crowd and we said, there's professionals, there's specialists. Why don't we come together and get better, posture our services to better serve ourselves? So we have an all-star team that I'm incredibly proud of. Psychiatrists, psychologists, marriage therapists, mental health specialists, youth behavioral specialists, a number of whom are in this room, that are coming together to recommend how can we now improve. Remember, our community was once a couple families that were very well served by one imam, but we're not a couple families anymore. And we have to expand our capacity and our drive and our desire to serve. You see on the bottom there, our Facebook page. If you pull out your smartphone, I'll assume you're not bored from the talk, but you're liking the Facebook page because you forgot to do it before coming here. But part of that is because that's the language our children speak. And if we're not there, we're simply not part of the conversation. We'll find somebody else to talk to. So we want to get out there and serve the diversity and the many needs of our community. So when we think about IAR today, I want you to embrace the breadth of this vision. Don't think just about a beautiful mosque overseas. Don't think about what many centers are plagued with in the US and Allah has saved us from thus far. Beautiful walls and empty halls. We want to posture our services, our capacity, our volunteer base, our staff, to be able to build on the legacy that our predecessors brought and serve this community in ever increasing, ever expanding manners. That's not an easy proposition, but ultimately we have to be able to do both simultaneously. We have to be able to build out our services. You see here a documentary on WRAL that featured many members of our community in just the recent live TV broadcast. More than 200,000 viewers tuned in. That's just on TV. I received calls from people that had never spoken to a Muslim and reached out to IAR because they saw that documentary. Just our shares on social media of that one thing reached more than 50,000 people. That doesn't count the others that shared that documentary. You see here the universities, as we build our support of our youth, our high school MSAs, our college MSAs, to be able to really embrace the needs of our community. And you see really here IAR moving beyond being a masjid alone in the strict sense, just a building serving that area. But really IAR is making strategic investments across the triangle to support not only our congregation, but the triangle at large, Muslims and non-Muslims. Alhamdulillah, you see our cemetery there to the right, and you can see more description in the Jummah presentation. Many of you may have attended, but if not, log on to our website, it's there on YouTube. And I talk in more details, Imam Muhammad and I, about the vision for us in the whole triangle, to have youth and family facilities with the Mid-Pines facility, to have this dream on Page Road, where we start thinking about other needs that are going to reach unprecedented levels in our communities, senior facilities, Islamic high school and college facilities which are not here, and so many other needs that we're going to continue to mature and refine and prioritize as we seek the community's input and as we coalesce, inshallah, behind this grand and worthy vision. So, today, I want to acknowledge that with every big dream, there have to be big skeptics. With the Prophet ﷺ, when they were building that palm leaves and the branches, there were people on the side saying, what are these people doing? When Prophet Nuh was building the ark, there were people saying, what is he doing? And so also, each of us might have that voice holding us back. That voice saying this is too much. That voice saying it's not worth it. And I'll be honest with you brothers and sisters, if we had to rely on the wits of our mind and the strength of our back, it is too much. But our reliance is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the generosity and the dedication of this community to help us raise righteous children, to help us build a future that we're proud of. So when we think about here, the Page Road facility here, and I mentioned a lot of these facilities, and again, you can find so much more detail on the YouTube page online. Thinking also about this community has preceded many others, thinking about investments and how to be strategically placed. Alhamdulillah, realize incredible profits already on the community's generous donations from before. And I want to connect you to another person that dreamed big, but started with something very small. You know, many of you are business people and professionals, and you work very hard for a day's living. And your time is so precious. For many of us, our earning potential is capped by our time. But some people, Allah blesses them that because their work impacts others, they gain from their investment passively without having to invest more effort. We call this royalty checks, or a great return on investment. So I think about this hadith. I think about a day when each of us will be sitting in our grave, each of us wishing there was a chance to make that extra rak'ah, a chance to make that extra sujood, a chance to give that extra $1. But our deeds are cut off, except for 3. A continuous charity, sadaqah jariyah. That a person, not just who invests in brick and mortar, maybe a person that builds a masjid and gets a reward from every person that prays. A person that builds a fountain overseas to relieve underprivileged people and gets reward with everybody that takes a sip of water. But also a person that helps to build an educational facility at IAR and gets a reward for every child that builds a connection with the Holy Quran or expands their mind. A person that gives people an alternative to the vicious, poisonous things out on the airwaves and gives them a chance at an honest understanding of Islam. And that follows them to their grave. Many people across the world would wish to have an opportunity for one of these to follow their graves. And today, with the work we're doing at IAR, with our position in America, with our sister masajid and Muslim organizations in this area, I believe we have an opportunity to worship Allah in all three. To have a continuous charity through action that is built on vision, institutionalizing, building a presence that will outlast us because it's more important than it should end with our lives. But also leaving a legacy of knowledge when people are thirsty for information about Islam. And then helping raise children that will stay Muslim, that will hold on to their identity and will make dua for us after we die. I want to close with something that really affected me. How many of you have been visited Medina al-Munawwara? Can you raise your hands? Now, see if you recognize this picture up here. It's not close to Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, so you may or may not have seen it. I actually visited a couple times. I didn't see it for the first few visits, but one time we're driving along a road, and then it's desert on the right and desert on the left. This is outside the city center. And then out of nowhere, you come across this lush greenery. It's so wide that the photographer can't capture it all. It's too big. So this is just a small part of these wide, expansive gardens. And it's so conspicuous because on every other side, it's dust and sand and rocks. And out of nowhere, there's this luscious garden. And we stopped, we pulled aside, started talking to the locals, tried to inquire about what this is. There's an incredible story behind it. When the companions came to Al-Madinah al-Munawwara, there was no fresh water to drink. They're in a desert, it was at a premium, except for this well, and the owner of the well raised prices and took advantage of people. So the Prophet ﷺ has a hadith where he says, who will purchase the well of Ruma and put it for service for people, right? So put his bucket by the buckets of Muslims, and he will have better than it in Jannah. Some of the companions, while worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in many ways, some of them were intent that one of the flavors would be to purchase a ticket to Jannah. And Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anh, he purchased the rights to the well and split the days with the owner. The owner thought that he would want to make a profit too. But Uthman made his day for service of people. And the owner kept his day for a monopoly. So everyone would come to drink on Uthman's day, and they would leave the well on the other day. Until the man that took advantage of people gave the rest of the well to Uthman for almost nothing, radiallahu anh. That is a well behind the fence. And what's around it are the gardens that still bear fruit, protected in a desert by the one that accepted the charity. And the proceeds from those gardens go to an account in the name of Uthman ibn Affan and finance work in Al-Madinah to this day. A couple years ago, one of the most recent initiatives was they built a whole residential facility for the underprivileged, exclusively based on the investment of Uthman. That was a status that the companions had, and they are our superiors. But we're jealous and we don't want to leave Jannah just for them. So I want to ask you today, who will purchase our well of Ruma? Who will help us build our vision that perhaps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might accept this inshallah as the act of worship, that He enters us into Jannah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us steadfastness and grant us barakah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us tawfiq inshallah in accomplishing these great dreams and guidance to make them for His sake alone. Allahumma ameen, ameen. I'll turn it over to my beloved brother Imam Muhammad Dahnoon inshallah.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبي الهدى محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. جزاكم الله خيرا all ما شاء الله تعالى for a well attended night. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your heart, bless your family, and make you see this in this life and in the hereafter. Alhamdulillah to see all these faces. And I really want to just inshallah ta'ala speak maybe for no more than 10 minutes. Because, you know, this is that I feel fairly comfortable with. So when I go out, you know, to the outside of the state to sometimes help some other communities, no matter how many times I do this, you know, that fear of the unknown, an audience that I'm not really comfortable with, and I have no idea who am I dealing with. And, you know, you're being very careful not to offend some people and all that. That always gives you setbacks. But alhamdulillah, this is one of the nights that I can really fundraise while being very comfortable. Even if I offend you, it's okay. I know you have a great heart and you're going to forgive me. But inshallah, I won't offend anyone, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's why inshallah ta'ala will not take more than 10 minutes, because knowing this audience, I really do not need to really raise your iman level of bringing so many ayat and so many ahadith. Alhamdulillah, you have been living in this community for years. You have heard so many times from myself, and the reminders are overwhelming. And I know bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, all of you who came out tonight, came out for one purpose, and that is really truly invest in such a great opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends along to us as we live. As we live, subhanallah, from one year to another, we have no idea when is our time. But as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala advances us in age, as we are living and we're passing on, subhanallah, opportunity comes. And this is where the angels basically record these opportunities. So what I want to share with you, inshallah ta'ala, before I start the fundraising, so you can inshallah ta'ala enjoy the dinner tonight and I don't delay you. I was really thinking what to say tonight. That's something that I have not shared with you before. It's very difficult to come up with something new, but something came to my mind. Maybe I have not really stressed on it before, and that is really truly the system subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of all systems. It does not matter how creative you are and how you think, how much of a really well-versed business person you are. It does not matter. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator who created us, puts a system that knows that it really works with everyone, not just with a segment or a certain, segment of a society, but rather with everyone. So I was really thinking, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put that system of this issue of donation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have easily made it mandatory on us, exactly like the zakah issue. As we are paying 2.5 mandatory zakat to purify our money and wealth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have also put a 1.5% on a yearly basis that this has to be set aside for donations. And it's mandatory. This has to be, so zakah has its 8 categories, as you all know, and then the 1.5 has its different category to spend in the goodness and to spend in the khair and to spend whatever. And we would have no choice. But then again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His greatness and wisdom and mercy, wanted this competition issue and to always realize the good from those that are excelling in good. Because a lot of people are with good hearts and kind hearts and they want to do the khair and they want to do something. But then again, it is all about their personality. Some people will stop short just because they're always so afraid of the unknown. And I don't want to commit. Some people are amazingly different of being the complete opposite. Some people do not function with the unknown and the fear and the uncertainty, but rather the only way that they donate is that they always give something that beyond their ability of commitment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows them that they are able to commit to it. How? You have no idea. Allah is my witness. You ask me right now, and I'm not trying to brag about it. If there is anyone that is very well versed how we received the money to build the building that we have that cost, as totality of more than $6 million. You ask me, how did we raise the $6 million? I have no idea. How did we pay for the contractors, the subcontractors, and to also commit to the loan that we took from the community, and also to pay for the operational expenses that was coming on a monthly basis because it did not stop? I have no idea. Was it paid? It was paid. The numbers that I was dealing with, $50,000 a month of auto drafts, Ramadan fundraising is $500,000 to $700,000. So you multiply all this, people are doing throughout the year, putting here, putting there. The numbers that I'm looking with do not meet up to $6 million. I have no idea how it is, but this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to show us that the tawfiq comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All we need to do is really to truly believe that this life is temporary. I want to invest something and I want to move on. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ comes to emphasize that by telling us something extremely ironic and something that you cannot comprehend. As a human tendency, if you are scared and you are in the middle of really a challenge, and all you think is how to get out of that challenge. So here comes Prophet Muhammad ﷺ talking about the goodness and the virtues of goodness, and he tells us, on the day of judgment, while people are going in total chaos, or right before the day of judgment, this is when the major signs are happening. And people are in total chaos and people are realizing that khalas, this comfort zone is no more. Things are coming to an end. And all this, Prophet ﷺ comes and inserts something extremely not expected. You would think that, oh, this is the time for you to open the Quran and read. This is the time for you to prostrate and make sujood to Allah. This is the time that you want to cry your heart out and you tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. This is the time that you want to go and reconcile. This is the time, and of course I'm not saying that these things are not to be done, but rather these are great virtues. But what he said was nothing close to that. But again, he said something that has to do with what we're doing tonight. He said, and if some of you are able to plant a seed, go ahead and do it. Tayyib, this means there is no way possible for me to see the plantation coming in front of me. So I'm not going to see the fruit of what I'm doing. And I'm about to face something very challengeable, and I am really scared of what's coming ahead. And I need to take care of my challenges and my own personal responsibilities. I need to do this, I need to do that. The same issues that we do now. But he goes and says, if you are able to plant a tree, go ahead and do. And you have no doubt that you're not going to see the fruits of that tree. So what's the reason? It's because Prophet ﷺ wants to train us. As a Muslim, you don't do things that you always need to see the results in your lifetime. But rather, you have to have a firm belief that what you do in this dunya, you're going to see it in the barzakh and you're going to see it on the day of judgment. So it's not even like some people say, do it so you can see it in your life and also see it, in the hereafter. No, you're going to see it in your life. You're going to see it while you're dead in your grave, and you're going to see it when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only this, you're going to see it when you are under the protection of Allah in Jannah. where you're going to see in a different level of Jannah, and you're going to realize, why am I in this level? I was not really the most righteous. So let's take a hadith of Prophet ﷺ that said in one of his hadith, the vast majority of people that will occupy the highest level of Jannah are those that have taqwa with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you can't top these things. Those people, mashallah, you can't top them. Those who always fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and put really a barrier between them and what upsets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's the top level. So that's one category. Most of us don't even come close to that category, because these people have really truly dedicated their life to be in that achieving process of being tuqah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the scholars have said those people are putting every possible barrier between them and what upsets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're doing every possible thing in their ability to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can't top this. They're working day and night to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, working day and night to not make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upset with anything, major or minor. So that's one category that we might not ever be able to come close to it. We keep trying, but we might not be able to, because it's not an easy thing. The second category comes where Prophet ﷺ says the highest level that meets with these tuqah, people that are of righteous and taqwa, are the people with the highest level of manners, and part of it, those who are always gentle, and the scholars have put those who are always generous. Subhanallah, and I have seen it, wallahi. There is an absolutely straight link between those who are generous and they always donate and between their manners. I have never seen, with my experience of being a fundraiser for the past 20 years, I have never seen a generous person that always gives really truly and has a bad akhlaq. Never seen that. I have never seen that. So there is that link that Prophet ﷺ always talks about virtues of spending and links it to the akhlaq. And then the akhlaq comes with a category of something that you can never achieve maybe in your lifetime because you're trying hard but it's not happening. But here is another avenue that I can come close to those that I might compete with in Jannah on the highest level in the Firdaus A'la by my manners, by my akhlaq, and indirectly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this whether I like it or not. That because of your generosity, because of your gentleness, because of your softness to Allah and to give, because it was not mandated, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala automatically labeled you to be among the highest of manners. Alhamdulillah, best package that you can never, turn down. It just comes automatically with it. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us all among those. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So with this, as I promised to bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, I want you bi'idhnillah to, inshallah ta'ala tonight, do something that is a little bit different. So I want to come down to now start my exercises, so I can feel comfortable. I go back and forth. MashaAllah, the hall is so long, but inshallah I still can see you. So what I need just really quickly bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you all know that giving charity, giving, spending in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, something as of a great virtue that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has really given us and commanded us to do. Investing in something that you don't see, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, is way more of a virtue than investing in something that you immediately have results of. So if I put into something that I can immediately receive a virtue of or a service, then alhamdulillah it's khair. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised those who always invest way ahead, before they see the fruits, before they see the outcome of what they have invested in. As we said, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ, those who come always ahead of time, always the pioneers of any project, always those who really build something. They don't see the results immediately, but rather maybe down the road, and maybe they never see the results. Examples of that, those who came and supported Prophet Muhammad ﷺ at the beginning of Mecca time. Most of those that suffered throughout the 13 years of Mecca, did not see any of the outcome and the fruit of what Islam is going to give afterwards in the days of Medina. They've never seen any of that. But they believed, they sacrificed, they compromised, and in return, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never forgets that for them. They have been always remembered for that. Their stories are narrated up to this day until the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised them in the Quran for a book that will be recited until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes upon our souls. Things will never go away with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and tonight your opportunity to do so. So what I want from you tonight is something beyond your ability, because that is not really a project that we want to spend expenses to the masjid. We want to pay the electricity, we want to just fix the playground, we want to do something, but rather what you're enjoying with the Islamic Center of Raleigh today is something that didn't come for because of the work of a couple of years ago, but rather because of planning of 30 years ago. And people that put their times, and people that put their efforts, and they sacrificed, and they've done, and look, we're enjoying, subhanallah. Wallahi, the only people that appreciate the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who are like you, who come for every opportunity to invest and to do. So inshallah ta'ala, tonight what I want you to do is something beyond your ability. However, I want to just make it a little bit easier for you. So I want to start with something that I have already received. But when I go down on the numbers, I want you to really think that people who came ahead of you are really people who do not have the numbers that I'm going to mention to you. But they have really believed, and they have really lived this, that years after years they were able to throw all these big numbers, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed them that they were able to do it because of His tawfiq. So again, don't give numbers that you just calculated. Maybe you came today calculating that I'm going to give $5,000. So what I would suggest today, in order for you to test and see it, and you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, double whatever you came up with tonight. Just have the intention, I want to double it. Khalas, inshallah. Now, if as we go through, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as you get emotionally connected with tonight's dinner and event, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, Allah will give you the tawfiq to do so. So now, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, with such an investment, I was amazed myself by doing, alhamdulillah ta'ala, a few calls here and there. And people actually approaching me without me even reaching out to them yet, by going ahead of time, ahead of the game, and they want to start this. So I have no choice but to start with them. So inshallah ta'ala, I want you to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you the tawfiq, and to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bi'idhnillah to allow us all to have the best, inshallah ta'ala, of result. Let me get my phone, so I don't, because as I get excited with this, I might forget myself. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. So let's start bi'idhnillah. So on your card, the numbers are big. So you're saying, you're so used to 10,000, I start with 10,000. But this time, the numbers are big. We start with 100,000. So, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wallahi, I tried very hard with two people that have come forward by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and each one of them donated $100,000. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa, Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa, Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. I tried very hard with these two people that I would love for you to raise your hand to announce it. This is something Islamically okay, not okay. It's sometimes very praised. Why? Because it pushes others to come forward. They thought that they were going to give 1,000 or 10,000, now they might double it. So it just moves you ahead. But subhanallah, it is two of the people that I've been dealing with for years, and they always insist not to. So I have to honor their wishes, even though I personally go against it. I really love for this to happen, but they have their own personal reasons why they don't to be identified. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless their hearts. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Now, it's your turn. So I want to go down from 100 down, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And I know this is something maybe you were not expected, bi'idhnillah, but again, it is not me that really moves you, but rather it is the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses you to be one of those. Now, it could be an investment that you want to do. Some people have really dedicated their properties. They have something that they want to give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they dedicate it to the Islamic Center of Raleigh. Some people have cash, some people have stocks, some people have something that they say, khalas, I want to reserve this for the masjid, and that's it. Maybe you did not come with this thinking, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would open your heart today to actually say, you know what? Wallahi, it's been always the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessing us with all this na'im. It is the time for me to do something really beyond what I was always able to do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can keep this ni'mah on all of us. This ni'mah that we're going through, we're going to be asked about it. Look at the world and look what's happening to our brothers and sisters all around the world. That some of them are really being tested with their own deen. They just can't keep up with all these trials that's happening to them. And look at the comfort we're going through. Not only we're living in a very comfortable atmosphere and life status and daily living, but rather we're not even being tested of the ups and downs of life. How many of us really have gone into severe poverty? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought us back. How many? Maybe not. Maybe ever since you realized that you came to this country and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you and you went on, you don't remember the last time that you wrote a check and you passed it on and it came back with insufficient funds. Maybe you never remember a day that happened. Whereas hundreds of thousands of others, this is their daily, if not daily, it's monthly struggle. That they live day by day and they can't keep up with anything. And from poverty to another trial, to another trial, to another trial. With this, I want to ask if there is anyone tonight that is willing to come, inshaAllah ta'ala, with another $100,000. Because those people that came and identified themselves, I want to see if there is anyone tonight that is willing to come up front and to actually come forward and do it before I pass on this opportunity. If you are here, please raise your hand so I can see you. But raise your hand good, because I don't want to make a mistake on $100,000. And you want to be very careful by your body gesture tonight, by the way. So even if you want to scratch, slowly. Because if you move, I just want to catch anyone. So you get stuck with it. So inshallah ta'ala, scratch your hair very secretively. So inshallah ta'ala, should I move on? I'll move on. Anyone inshallah ta'ala with $75,000 tonight? Anyone, as I'm going down? If you are there, please identify yourself. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, because I want to really put the time for you to come forward on something that inshallah you feel that you can challenge. But if 75 is way ahead of what you're thinking, that's by all means no problem. But I want to see if there is that person that is here tonight. Anyone with 75? Anyone with 75? Okay, khair inshallah ta'ala. So, now we go down bi'idhnillahi ta'ala to my next bracket. Anyone bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tonight with $50,000. Takbir, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, takbir, Allahu Akbar, barakallahu feek. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Jazakumullahu khayran wa barakallahu feekum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you see this in this life and in the hereafter. Allahumma ameen. Anyone else with $50,000? Anyone tonight with 50,000 inshaAllah ta'ala before I move on? Anyone? Jazakumullahu khairan. Barakallahu feekum ya Rab. I'm done with my first card. So, where are we now? MashaAllah. Wallahi, I love Raleigh community, MashaAllah ta'ala. One time I spoke behind your back. I'm sorry. I was at Atlanta, Georgia. And this was very, amazing. These guys are really amazing. So I told Brother Sammy so I can get him, always he, excited about Al-Iman school. I'm excited too, but I wanted to give it to him. I told him Al-Falah school. copied Al-Iman School 10 years after the initiation of Al-Iman School. They came and they copied everything Al-Iman School did. And they showed this on their projector. Al-Iman School, Raleigh, North Carolina. This is where Imam Muammar came and he's fundraising for us. We copied everything. But the problem is, they are way ahead of us. They have a high school now. So I went to fundraise for their high school. So I told them, what do I start with? They told me, start with 250. I said, $250,000 start with? He says, yeah. I said, MashaAllah, Wallahi, I loved Raleigh community, but this number was never a number on my radar. So I actually started, and MashaAllah, 2 of them came forward. So inshallah ta'ala, that's something that we want, inshallah, maybe every time we have an opportunity for us to consider these high numbers, because this is something done for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is one of the greatest investment bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. طيب, next card bi'idhnillah. So now I have the bracket down to 40,000, and I do have someone that alhamdulillah ta'ala came forward and said he wants to do $40,000. So I do have one. Takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I would like to know if there is any person that would like to join this person with 40,000. Anyone? So that's $10,000 discount from the 50,000. I know that's not much, but it's an opportunity. Do I have someone? Jazakallah khair. Takbir. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Jazakallahu khairan wa barakallahu feek. So just to announce, alhamdulillah ta'ala, not to brag and not to praise. This is something that Prophet Muhammad did. So in front of all the Sahaba, he did identify names and said Abu Bakr, he said Uthman, he said Umar. So those are the Sahaba. And they know that, I'm not coming really to show off, but rather the reason why they did it is because they want to move the other Sahaba to do it. So alhamdulillah, these 2 people, one of them, alhamdulillah ta'ala, is from the board members, and the other is, alhamdulillah, our chairman from the Shura. And this is a great example that we want to show, despite the fact that not only that people are coming to volunteer and put their time and to sacrifice their life for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also coming forward to financially support. Because some people would say, khalas ya akhi, I volunteer, that's my giving. Which is khair, alhamdulillah, it's great. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes does not allow us to stop there, and that's a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So always you want to compete. So you say, no, I want to volunteer and I want to give. Why? Because I want to khalas, live in Jannah forever under the protection of Allah. I want to have the best of na'im. Not only that, I want to be in the highest level where I have the ability to call upon my family. So I can have that reunion. I can have my family members. And now, no more worries. No more problems. No more grudges from mankind. Because alhamdulillah, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He did not allow us to have grudges in Jannah. Wallahi, this is the biggest ni'mah. Because if He left us on our own with our personalities, we would have, ruined Jannah. So alhamdulillah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it something beyond our ability, that we will never be able to ruin it, and we will never be able to hold grudges or to have any feelings, like negative feelings against each other. Do I have anybody else with $40,000? Anyone else? I'll do my scanning. No 40. Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Let me go down to 30K. $30,000. Anyone with 30,000? That's another 10,000 discount. Jazakallah khair. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. That's a dua from the Quran, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to replace you all with whatever you're giving, and to keep that ni'mah and blessing upon you, that you wake up every day not being worried about your sustenance, not being worried about your family future, but rather you're just indulging in the na'im of Allah and giving as an appreciation to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Allahumma ameen, ameen, ameen. Anyone else with $30,000? Anyone else, inshaAllah? Before I move on, anyone else? Brother Fayyaz. What is it? Oh, you don't know how much it is. I'll wait until it comes to its category, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan. طيب. Anyone with 25 tonight? So a $5,000 discount. I'm just going now 5,000 less. So because we're coming close to the number that inshallah I'm going to see a lot of hands are coming with. 25 tonight, anyone with 25? Khalas, alhamdulillah. Do I have it? 25, Jazakallah khair, takbir, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Jazakumullahu khairan, mashallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you see this in this life and in the hereafter. And also in your early life and barzakh, and also in Jannah. And insha'Allah ta'ala, you will never regret doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know the best investment in when you invest it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it can never be a win or lose. It's always a win-win situation. Always. A wa'd and a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do I have anybody, insha'Allah ta'ala, with $20,000? Takbir, Allahu Akbar. Takbir, Allahu Akbar. Takbir, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. 3 people with $20,000. Do I have more? I have my crew telling me there. Khalas, I'm going to take your word. Takbir, Allahu Akbar. I can't see it, but I'll take your word for it. Jazakallahu khairan. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. So help me out with the back seat. I can't see, mashallah, all the way down. Dr. Usama, I have to have an appointment with you. I guess I'm aging. I'm still resisting the fact to wear reading glasses. But that's why I'm writing with big numbers, so you don't catch my secret. So inshallah ta'ala, with 20,000 we have 4 people. Do I have anybody else that I can't see? Anyone else before I move on? If you had the intention to 20, please keep it as is. So alhamdulillah that we have people, I'm sure that we have people that doubled the intention that they came up with, or they came with it. Alhamdulillah ta'ala. So let's go down to 15. Anyone with 15 inshaAllah ta'ala tonight? Anyone? Takbir, Allahu Akbar, Barakallahu feek, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa, Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa, Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Anybody else with $15,000? Anyone else? Anyone else inshaAllah ta'ala? Before I go down to 10, because 10 I want to relax and take my time. So before I go to 10, anyone else, so you can be written tonight with the angels of the bracket of 15,000. Take your time, because before I start with 10,000, I'll ask again. طيب, the $10,000 program. This is now what I really want most of you guys to participate. I don't want you to think I want to give 10,000 because I have it or don't have it. What I'm going to tell you tonight is, and Allah is my witness, an experiment that I have done it personally, with myself and with others that have really believed and they were convinced and they participated, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed them the way. And up to now, after years, this is what they do all the time. So, it is nothing but the ability of doing the khair, and that is for you to become a fundraiser. See, it is very limited for me to reach out to everyone in the community, but I have no doubt that you know people that I don't know. And while you go in your gatherings and you always ask, and we always ask about dunya affairs. So which insurance company do you have? So which 401, package do you have? And we're always asking of what best fits us. So what's best? I'm thinking to buy a car. What's best? And we're always advising each other, and we're always, this insurance company does this and whatever. Oh, Oh, this cable company, this, wireless company. And you start talking, and you're always switching from place to place in order for you to save. And people are really helping each other on that. So what I want you to do is the same concept, but for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So each one of us would commit with $10,000. How do I come up with the $10,000? So you have the $10,000 and the $5,000. Same concept, but it depends on your ability and your gathering around you. So it is nothing but you, while you're in your gathering, at work, at the masjid, any place, you just ask people like you ask them, which insurance company do you deal with, because I'm thinking to switch. Are you on the auto draft with the masjid? You will be surprised that most people will tell you, no, I'm not. I just give, what. You say, okay, whatever you give, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, that's khair. But I want you to actually commit for something very small, which is $100 a month, or $50 a month. If it's $100 a month, you're talking about the $10,000 program. If it's a $50 a month, you're talking about the $5,000 program. And all you need to do, and I told you, Allah is my witness that I have done this personally, and people that believed in it. Just around your immediate relatives, your wife, your children that have advanced, alhamdulillah, and they're college students, or your brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, any of your cousins, whatever. You ask them and you immediately will have 5 people that are not on the auto draft. All you need to do is to sign them up. Tell them, I just need your void check. That's it, $50 a month. That puts you in the $5,000 program. If they're able to do $100 a month commitment, that's the $10,000 program a month. And that basically, you just need to have 10 people. That's it. So you're really having and recruiting one person to commit for $1,000 for the whole year. For the whole year. And you're choosing 10 people to do that. That gives you $10,000. Or you have people, 10 people still, that they're committing only to $50 a month. And they are now giving you more than $5,000, almost $6,000. And this is how you recruit people, and this is how you end up actually donating for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only that He will get the ajr or she will get the ajr. You will get the ajr because you're the one that introduced the idea. And he or she will get the ajr because they participated in that. Not only that, they will move on to copy what you have done. So you will tell them, in order for you to receive what I receive, go and do the same thing. I know that you're familiar with this. Everybody that came to this country heard of this pyramid thing. And it never works in the business fields because they always fool you. And the biggest gainers of that are the top. That's true. But here we're not on a business field. Here we're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by all means, the biggest gainers are those that actually started and believed in it. So as you move on and that network expands, every 10 other people that someone else will recruit will go back to the one that started it. And this is how you're going to have mountains of hasanat on the Day of Judgment that you don't even know. It is just because of the mercy of Allah, He counted that for you. And He told you now, this is your level in Jannah because of what you have done. And this is how you do things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wallahi, will give you the tawfiq. Wallahi will give you the tawfiq. All it needs to do is just for you to train yourself to it. All I need from you, a void check, I'm just going to commit you to $50 a month. That's it. 10 people. It might take you a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it doesn't matter. The secret and the beauty of this system. The second you get 10 people committed, I have people who participated in this program who have gone 100, now at least, I have at least 100 people on this program, but that's from years. But because not everybody is coming forward with it. Just imagine if we go all at large and we do it. Only few people that committed 100 people. And then I relaxed myself. I was not able to keep up with them and push this program. And I kind of, also had my setbacks. But now tonight I want to revive this again. You know what it takes? After you said this 10 people, your job is done. Wallahi, your job is done. All it needs is just maintenance. Someone drops. You know those 100 people that I told you about? They have been signing up with Masjid for the past 10 years. You go to their records and you see each one now has donated more than $100,000. That was never been able to do that. But it just adds up. Over the years it adds up. Now if you are a very good salesperson, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the others will recruit others and others and others and others, and you we all are gonna die. And you're gonna see this in your grave. And you're gonna see the sadaqah jariyah. And the legacy that you left behind. And then we're gonna be resurrected. And then we're gonna be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our accountability. And mountains of hasanat are coming. And hundreds, if not thousands of people come after you just because of that seed that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam told you. As long as you plant that seed, even when you see the major signs are happening and chaos is taking place, and you have that seed in your hand, never throw it away to take care of the other major responsibility, but rather plant that seed and then move on. Because you will see the results with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that I have really convinced you. And the proof, if I really do truly convinced you or not, is of how many hands I'm going to have with a $10,000 program. So please, please don't think that this is going to come out of your pocket. This is a work that you're going to do as you have really proven excellency in life. Being a project manager, being whatever you are, being a physician, being whoever you are, a business person, whatever you do in life, you have proved every day your commitment. You have taken assignments and you have gone big projects. You have traveled around the world and you have met the results. It took you time, but you have met the results. Getting 10 people on this is not an impossible mission. It just needs for you to actually sit and say, I want you to sign up. It doesn't work with that person? Try another person. It's not going to take you much to sign up 10 people. And that's the end of it. I'll take it from there and I'll follow up with them. And I'll increase more people to them. And you will get the ajr as you sit back at home, inshallah ta'ala, and enjoy your quality time with your family. That's a promise. I will follow up. I just need you to give me the 10 people. With this, inshallah ta'ala, I want to see, alhamdulillah, I already called people. So I have 10 people that have believed in this. And among the 10 people, I have to announce this, so I have convinced my family. So on the Dahnoon's family, I have convinced them to do $10,000. It doesn't matter whether they have it or not, but inshallah ta'ala they do it. Even my mom, inshallah, she's gonna talk to some people, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I have 10 people that have committed to this program. So inshallah, I'm hoping to have difficult time finding, or difficult time not being able to count your hands. So I'm gonna close my eyes, bismillah, and say bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Raise your hands for those that believe in this system, inshallah. And surprise me, bi'idhnillah. Where are the hands? 1, bismillah. 2, Allahu Akbar. 3, Allahu Akbar. 4, Allahu Akbar. Raise your hand high, please. 5, Allahu Akbar. Raise your hand high, bi'idhnillah. 6, barakallahu feek, ya Rab. 6, let's go more. You have to at least meet these people. 7, Allahu Akbar, barakallah feek. I need hands, please. You have to at least compete with what I got on my own. I'm only one man. Jazakallah khair, Habib. It's okay, don't worry about it. I'm not going to hold you responsible for it. Yes. See, always with kids, I don't hold parents responsible. Because kids get excited. Jazakallah khair, barakallah feek, ya Rab. I need more. I got 8. I need... not 2. I need more, inshallah ta'ala. I want to exceed the number that I just did on my own. So I want at least 3 more. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feek, ya Rab. Allah, ya Rabbi, barik feekum jami'an. I need 2 more, inshallah. At least 2 more. At least 2 more. I'm not moving. Bi'idhnillah, 2 more, inshallah ta'ala. So take your time, think about it until I flip with my cards. Yes. Yeah, that's the same one. That's we counted. Yes, alhamdulillah. So, alhamdulillah, I remember the card that Brother Fayaz gave me. That's 10,000, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. So I need 1 more. This is not counted. You can add this one. Alhamdulillah. 1 more. Who is the last soldier? Ya salam. Do I have it? No, man, stop raising your hands. This time I'm going to hold you accountable for it. Alhamdulillah. 1 more. Take your time. Think about it before I move on. Say Bismillah, Ya Rab, give me the tawfiq to me among those who can recruit 10 people that can donate $100. Do I have it? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. MashaAllah, takbir, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Before I give the blessed dua, do I have another 10,000 person? Another one before I move on. Jazakallah khair, Allahu Akbar. Do I have another person with 10,000? Allahu Akbar, MashaAllah. See, I told you the khair in this ummah will never stop, MashaAllah. It just needs time. See, people are different. Some people will be convinced immediately. Some people will come a little bit after. Some people it takes 5 minutes. But the problem is just the time. And you need to eat. Ya Allah, I need to move on. Ya Allah, anybody with 10,000? Akhir ishi. Last one. Anybody before I move on? Khalas, we close. Alhamdulillah. Tayyib. Now, inshaAllah ta'ala, you're going to surprise me with the 5,000, inshaAllah. So I have only 10 minutes to finish this fundraising. So I want you to cooperate with me. 5,000, it's only 10 people that you need to tell them $50 a month. That is the least ni'mah we can say to Allah. Thank you, Allah, for what you have given us. $50 a month that people cannot afford. Maybe this applies somewhere else, but by the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for us, that doesn't apply. But it just needs that commitment. $50 a month, 10 people, you set them up and you khalas, go to sleep. And then we will do the network for you. These 10 people will be multiplied by another 10, another 10, another 10. And one day you will realize that you have hundreds of people that have really gone into the project that you started. With this I say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open your hearts and give you the ability to do so. Bismillah. How many hands do I have for 5? Raise your hand high. Bismillah. 1, 2, 3. Allahu Akbar. Let's go faster, please. Raise your hand high. 3. Otherwise, I'm going to go through all the tables. See, I do not believe in putting a pressure on people. Some people tell me, you got to go, some shuyukh do. You tell Ala, you have to pay $100,000. I don't do this. I don't like it. I just don't feel that it's something Islamically okay. I don't know. Maybe miskin, he will just now. He can't even swallow. I'm just joking, man. He's about to choke now. I'm just joking. Ala, barakallah fi. Brother Sami killed him. We just recruited him to Al-Iman School Board. His wife doesn't see him anymore. Relax. That's why we get people overburnt. You get someone and okay, put him. Ala, Usama. But you put everyone everywhere and then they just run away from the masjid. May Allah, inshallah, bless your heart. So we stopped at 4. Was it 4 or 3? I need 7 more, inshallah, to get to 10 people. 7 more, inshallah, with 5,000. Jazakallah khair, habibi. Barakallah feek. 1. So I need 6 more. Allahu Akbar, MashaAllah. 2, a boy and a girl from the same family. Ya salam. Wallahi, MashaAllah ta'ala. That's on behalf of the family that the father already came up with a commitment before. And this is how we train our children to really be generous from an earlyhood, so they can relate that I'm part of this Islamic mission in life, and I want to be part of it, MashaAllah ta'ala. I need 5 more, inshaAllah. 5 more so we can end this program of 5,000. 5 more, inshaAllah ta'ala, that you can recruit 10 people with $50 a month. This money doesn't need to come from your pocket. It just needs for you to work like you work, like every day you wake up in the morning and you commit to work. And you actually tell your boss, here is my job and here's the project. And you end up finishing your mission, that's all. All I'm asking you, you have months to go. I want you just to sign up 10 people with $50 a month. That's it. And then you will have the ajr. Not only myself, you will have the ajr. So with this, do I have 5 more people? 5 more, inshaAllah ta'ala. Anyone. Let me see my card. 5,000. La, I don't have anyone with 5,000. So it is, do I have it? Allahu Akbar, Barakallah feek, Alhamdulillah, Takbir. 4 more. We're coming close, inshallah. 4 more. 4 more, easy to count right there. Oh, this is the Rabi'a Adawiyya sign. So they now gonna hold me. It's okay. I'm with them, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah bless them. You are there? MashaAllah, Barakallah feek. So the people in front of me, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. 2 more. That's it. 2 more. We're coming close. 2 more with 5,000. 2 more. Oh, so we do have 10 people? Are you playing with the numbers, Sister Kauthar? La, I just got 2 out of the 4. I'm still recruiting 2. Do I have 2 people? So you don't break Sister Kauthar's heart. She's been overwhelmed with IAR's administrative responsibilities. So just to cheer her up, add 1 more. So I have 8 people. I need 2. 2. Yalla Bismillah. 2 more, 2 more, 2 more before I move on. 2 more. No? Total silence. So I have to move on, inshaAllah ta'ala, because of the time. Barakallah fikum ya Rab. Now, do I have anyone with $2,000? So I'm dropping from 5 to 2. Same concept. Barakallah fiq, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah fiq. 3, 4, alhamdulillah, mashaAllah. 5, alhamdulillah. Barakallah fikum. 5. Let's go to 10. I like number 10. I'm not really good in math, but 10 is the easiest thing that you can multiply. Anything you multiply by 10, you can easily find the results. So 10 by 2,000, that's 20,000, so easy. Yalla, alhamdulillah, 6, 4 more. 4 more. With $2,000. Do I have it? طيب, mashallah, jazakallah khair, alhamdulillah. 3 more. 3 more, bi'idhnillah, with 2,000. Alhamdulillah, it's coming close. 3 more, it should be a breeze, inshaAllah ta'ala. So that reduces the amount of people that you have to recruit. That's way less. So that's maybe 5 people that you need to just recruit. 3 more? Yes, 3 more. Do I have 3 more? 3 more before I move on. Jazakillah khair, barakallah fiki. 2 more, inshallah. Yes, where? I see signs. Here? Yes, Jazakallah khair, barakallah fik. MashaAllah. Sister Kauthar, 9. Allah ysamhik. May Allah forgive you. Now you're coming down. Yes, 1 more. 1 more, inshaAllah ta'ala. See, the last one is as good as the first one, because the last one is like the one that kind of, subhanallah, fulfills it. Ya salam. Closes that. It's like, Bismillah. 1 more. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Now doing all this, it makes the $1,000 so easy. So I want to end this with this. This with the $1,000 and the 500. It was a promise from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam that he said, those who do spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that story, by the way, was related to the way that Uthman used to do. So he would give and commit, and then he would hear Prophet ﷺ asking more, then he would commit again. Then he asked more, then he would commit again. So what I want you to remember, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, من أنفق زوجين في سبيل الله دعي من أي أبواب الجنة دخلها. Those who have spent already, did not calculate $1,000. I want you to come forward, and including myself, that each one of you will commit for another $1,000. And that, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, will add and put you among those that are labeled with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that you are going to have the choice to choose from which gate of Jannah you want to enter. So you want to go from anyone that you love, inshaAllah, Allah will give you that opportunity, as Prophet Muhammad ﷺ does not speak it. Barakallah fiqh. Let's start. Those who, including myself, alhamdulillah, everyone that came forward, let's raise our hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Raise your hand high, barakallah fikum. So I can move on, bi'idhnillah. 8, 9, alhamdulillah. Let's go. 10, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. 11, barakallah fikum. 12, jazakumullahu khairan, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. 13, Allahu Akbar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you see the promise of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those who spend, let them come more. And do it, and wallahi, you're dealing with the most generous. Don't say, I am not like Uthman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deals with each generations as they lived in their own time. And that's why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam praised us and says that he has missed his people. And the Sahaba thought, no, he said, you are my companions, but my people, those that come after me, they never seen me, they believed in me, and they believed in the haqq that he promised, and they came forward. So, how many people do they have? 13? Move that plus, please. Shukran. I need 7 more, inshallah, and we will end this. Do I have 7 more? Jazakallah khair, Allahu Akbar. 6 more, Jazakallah khair. 5 more, Allahu Akbar. 4 more, inshallah ta'ala. 4 more. It's coming down, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, Allahu Akbar. 3 more. Jazakillahu khairan. 2 more. Barakallah feek. 1 more. Allahu Akbar, alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. I wanted 2 more, that's 5. 6, Allahu Akbar, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Do I have more people? Jazakallah khair. 7, Allahu Akbar. 8, Allahu Akbar, mashallah. 9, mashallah, barakallahu feekum. Anybody else? Ya salam, alhamdulillah. May Allah bless your heart. Anybody else? Move that plus, please. Jazakallahu khairan. 1 more, so I can have 25. Anyone? Jazakallah khair. Allahu Akbar, mashallah. Anyone with $500? Anyone with $500, inshallah ta'ala? And I promise I will end it with this. Jazakallah khair, barakallah feek, ya Rabb. Anyone with 500, inshallah? Jazakillahu khairan, that's 2. Alhamdulillah, let's see if we can get 10 people. Again, my favorite number. 10 people. What's wrong with that plus? That's always on the number that I'm trying. 2. I need 8. 8 more, inshallah. 8 more. Anyone? 500. Jazakallah khair. 7 more, inshallah. 7 more. Bi'idhnillah, and we're done. So I can let you go. Allahu Akbar. 6 more. 6 more. It's coming to an end. Either you participate or you lose. I have 4 more minutes. I got it done. 4, what number do I have? 4? 6 more, inshallah. Do I have 6 people? 6 people that would like to participate in the 500? 4. Let me just take 1 more so I can end with 5. Anyone with $500? Just 1 more. 2? Allahu Akbar. I have 2 more, alhamdulillah, 6. So that moves me to still try for 4 more. Do I have 4 more? So you can, inshallah ta'ala, make me satisfied with 10 people. It's easy to count. 4 more. Anyone with, inshallah ta'ala, 4 more? Yalla, jazakallah khairan. 3 more, mashallah. 3 more. 3 more people. Jazakillah khairan, barakallah fiki. 2 more, inshallah. 2 more, it's coming. And you are going to be the seal of tonight, inshallah. Allahumma ja'alam barakin. Barakallah feek. Allahu Akbar. I got 1 with 2, and that's 3. So alhamdulillah, I have 11, total of 11. Do I have any more before I move on? MashaAllah, my youth. Alhamdulillah. 1, 2, 3. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. 3 people. So that's more. Yani give 15 now. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Anybody else before I close? Anyone before I close? Allahumma أعطي منفقا خلفا اللهم أعطي منفقا خلفا اللهم أعطي منفقا خلفا. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you see this in this life and in the hereafter. MashaAllah, $852,000. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you among those sabiqun, the founders and the pioneers of every great project, that you can see this in this life while you are alive. You see it in your grave, and you see it when you get resurrected. And people in total chaos, they have no way where to be directed, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the directions. And when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you find Him pleased with you, and also you get blessed with the highest level of Jannah. I do ask, inshaAllah ta'ala, for you now to move on your cards, Jazakumullah khair, to write whatever you pledged, the total, with legible information on it. Take your time, there is no rush. And pass it on, to the fundraiser team members. And inshallah we will follow up with you on this bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So take your time, fill it, inshallah ta'ala, legible, and pass on the card to the fundraiser team members. Jazakumullahu khairan. And I want to give the microphone to our MC, And I truly make dua from the bottom of my heart for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you all and to protect you and protect your family and make you see this in this life and in the hereafter. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, everyone, for your attention and your generous donations. We will now break for dinner. We'll be breaking 3 zones. Zone A will go first, and it's the first 3 rows. If Zone A can please go, your dinner is served. Your zone is in the center of your table. So please, Zone A only right now. Thank you.